Thank you. Okay, good morning. I call to order the CCS Long Range Planning Committee meeting on Monday, April 22nd at 10:02 a.m. Beth, can you please call the roll?
Bertucci,
Present.
Felix,
Present. Sorry.
Lemke is absent. Livergood
Present.
and Smith. Let's see. It looks like she might be in the waiting room. See if that works.
Jeannie is on Teams. I just got a notification. Long Range Planning, Jeannie Dilger started the meeting.
I
I
just
can hop
sent
in.
her the Zoom link.
I can pop in the Teams meeting, just see if anyone's lurking there.
Okay.
Oh, there's
Never
Jeannie.
know.
So, Beth, were you finished with roll?
Yes. And I've noted Jeannie's presence.
Okay. Are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, any public comment? Okay. Can I please have a motion to approve the minutes of February 29th? They were sent out with our meeting information.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. And a second? I'll second.
Okay, with roll?
Mhm.
Bertucci,
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
Livergood,
Yes.
and I see Robin connecting. Robin, do you want to vote on the minutes? Maybe just give her
Doesn't look like she's on audio yet.
no.
Okay. All right. I am going to turn it over to Rebecca for strategic goals for 24-25.
Thank you. So I sent an updated version of the document we looked at last meeting, with some additions and changes. I have estimated staff hours in there. This is, I think, a very ambitious set of goals, but many of them sort of feed into each other, specifically around the ILS contract renewal, and looking at evaluating some different components that we'll need to take into account when doing that contract renewal. So I did the math, and this is a feasible set of goals within our current staff levels, assuming we hire a UX person, and it's going to be awesome when we hire them. And that includes cushions for time off and, just cushions for things that come up, because stuff always comes up. So the changes from the last time we met, I've added the Vernon area addition. And per my note, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but they are continuing conversations with us, and it seems likely, and it's included in their strategic plan. So I think it is wise to include it. I've split the ILS contract renewal into two separate projects, one of which would happen in the first half of the year, with Deborah as the staff lead, and then we'd move into contract negotiations. This number of 50 hours of contract negotiations is low because it will move into the next fiscal as well. So that is here. And again, we've split Find More into two separate components. Deborah will continue to lead the project to roll out libraries that are going to continue to go live. And then we'll have Rachel working on the analysis of impact so we can make a strong recommendation to governing board on whether to continue or not. So that was just split out to indicate some hours in my planning. These are the same as they were before, with some again, staff leads, some adjusted project sizing and staff hours. And then two projects have been removed from the list. When we last met, it seemed that Evanston would be moving forward with a BT Cat subscription, which is a cataloging, like a source of records and a cataloging utility. But our latest discussions with them are that they are not going to do that. We are still interested in doing a pilot with BT Cat, but based on all of our other projects and the timeliness of the other projects, we don't have the capacity next year if there isn't already a library that's going to like take on the setup work and, you know, Evanston was going to do this anyway, and then we were going to work with them to do some analysis of it. But without that existing framework of a library taking it on, we don't have the capacity to manage kind of the whole shebang. And then finishing up with the co-location decommission, we're actually going to have that wrapped up this fiscal. So that is one less thing we'll have to worry about next year, and we'll get the financial benefits sooner as well. So I want to pause for questions, comments, feedback. And our goal today is to take a recommendation to governing board for the May meeting.
I just had a question. How is your search for your new UX person going now that you're working with HR Source?
Deborah, do you want to give an update on that?
Sure. So last I spoke with HR Source, we had received, gosh, it was a week and a half ago. We had gotten over 100 applicants for the position. Yeah. So I'm sure that number has bumped up in the last week and a half. So HR Source has been reviewing all of the applications and selecting candidates to do phone screens with, sending them to CCS review and then conducting the phone screens. So far we have selected one candidate from the phone screens to kind of move on to a second round interview. And I'm expecting our contact at HR Source is on vacation in Europe. It's a tough place to be. So I'm expecting to maybe have a couple other candidates to interview once they're back and have kind of finished reviewing the latest batch of candidates who have applied. So yeah, a really great response so far. So we're feeling really optimistic.
So are you hoping to have someone placed by like June 1st? Is that realistic?
I hope that would be a dream if we could have someone in place by June 1st. But again, depends on, we're really focused on finding the right fit. So it just depends on kind of the candidates that we interview.
Gotcha. Okay.
So by latest, I would hope July or even August, but hopefully by the end of the summer.
Yes. We need them. We've got work for them to do.
Yeah, that's why I asked, just because you had, medium-sized plans, but that's good. Awesome. Thank you.
I've got a question. So the Vernon Area Public Library Edition, I'm trying to think where we're at. Did we vote for this in governing board? And do I remember? Like this is unofficial at this point, right? We just know that they're interested.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is unofficial. We have not voted. Their board would vote first, and then we would vote after their board submits their like formal request. And we're anticipating that would happen in November. And so if that doesn't happen in November, this project would be struck or shift to the future.
Okay, and then my follow-up question to that would be if there is somebody, I'm thinking, I know I've heard, I don't know how, like, if this is fantasy or reality. I've heard some rumblings about some other libraries, particularly Cook Memorial, wanting to join. Obviously, we'd have to vote for that. So let's say Cook Memorial somehow decides they want to join too, and governing board approves that. Does that necessitate more hours, or when you have two libraries join at once, is the same number of hours? I would imagine it would be more hours, right? And then if something like something unanticipated occurred, how will we adjust the plan?
Yeah, so it would be more hours for sure. Our staff are doing a great job diligently tracking their hours. They did so for the Warren Newport project, which is what this estimate is based on. And then they're doing so for our current project. And even in this first couple of phases of the project, we do see that it is significantly more hours to do too. It's not more than double, but at least at this point, it's kind of close to double. It's not a significant time savings to do two at once. I'd be very interested in what the rumor mill is saying about Cook Memorial, because I haven't heard from them in several months. They had asked for a quote and the sort of tone of the email was like, our board is making us look at this, but we don't want to do it. So I don't know how true that was and if I'm just misunderstanding the tone. So I am not expecting them. I'd be delighted to be wrong. This number of hours is for the whole project, which would be split over 2 fiscals. So this 550 would really be like 200 in this year, in the fiscal that we're talking about. But in my math, I included the whole project. So theoretically, there would actually be bandwidth to do a second library with Vernon. Because again, the hours, I put all the hours into this fiscal plan, even though half of them would be in the following. So, whether it was an additional library joining or some other sort of, very time specific project that came up, there is some wiggle room in the hours. And then there are some other things, like this is not a huge project, but this is a project that, we could table or push back if needed. This we could bump as well, but I would like to keep it on track. I think it makes sense as we move into strategic planning to have it completed kind of along before we finalize the strategic plan. So there is some room to move things around. And some of these, I tried to overestimate rather than underestimate in number of hours.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, and listen, I know nothing definitive or anything like that. I talk to David occasionally, so my impression was that there was some interest, at least, I mean, I shouldn't talk out of school, but who knows if there's staff interest or not staff interest and board interest, not board interest, it's fine. And
yeah,
I'll obviously, if you and your staff, if let's say there is another library that wants to join, well, they can just get in line, right? It's not like we have to, like completely throw off the goals to welcome a new library.
Yeah, that is always an option, is working with libraries on their schedule. So yeah, I mean, I will follow up with Cook, just because again, I really truly haven't heard from them since they asked for kind of some initial information several months ago. So, good to know.
Okay, are there any other comments or anything else on strategic goals? Okay, so we have this as an action item. So I will make a motion unless there's any other discussion. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the strategic goals as presented for 24-25.
Joanne, I think your goal should be to recommend them to governing board.
Okay, so my strike that. I make a motion to recommend the strategic goals as presented for 24-25 to governing board.
Second.
Is that Becky, the second?
It was, yeah.
Thank you.
And Beth, can you call the roll?
Sure. Bertucci,
Yes.
Feelick,
Yes.
Livergood,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's nothing else listed on the agenda. Is there anything else from CCS staff or anyone in the group?
I will just say that I'll be sending committee requests for next year. And I will be focusing on putting some more people on long range planning. I think we'll have plenty of interest. So I'll be sending those in May, probably after governing board. We'll talk about it at the meeting and then I'll send it out. So I'd love to see you back on the committee. And thank you for your work this year. And I'm looking forward to doing a strategic plan next year. It'll be fun.
Jeannie, go ahead.
Thank you. I know I'm just a guest here, but I just wanted to thank Rebecca and all of her staff. This is a nice, clear, simple 3-page presentation, but I know it took a lot of work to get to that beautiful 3-page presentation. And the fact that we aren't, asking many questions just is because of how well you presented it. I loved the spreadsheet where you figured out the staff time and everything. It was clear that you put a lot of thought into it, and I love a good spreadsheet. So it made it so that I didn't have to ask you any questions. So thank you all for your work.
Thanks, Jeannie.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I will make a motion to adjourn the long range planning committee meeting at 10:19. You get a second?
I'll second.
Ryan? Okay. All those in favor? Do we have to do, can we do just a voice, Beth? Is that okay?
I
You
think
can-
for the
Yeah, you
adjournment,
can
we
just declare the meeting adjourned.
Adjourned.
too.
Okay. All right, we are adjourned. That was very quick.
Thank you, everyone. I
everybody.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Joanna.
Bye.